What's up YouTube? For today's project, we got these 2010 Anniversary 11s. The three biggest issues on these sneakers: heavy oxidation throughout the entire sole, a lot of separation, and we gotta get these uppers back to white. So let's transform this shoe. For before and after purposes, we'll put this shoe to the side and focus on the left. Now let's take off our laces and insole so we can give those a thorough cleaning separately. The first thing we gotta do is give this shoe a proper deep clean inside and out using our Rejuvenator Signature Shoe Cleaning Kit. Right now we have a lot of grime and dirt on the white mesh. The best way to flush all of that out is by putting them in the washing machine, but first we gotta give the sneaker a pre-treatment. We're gonna start by putting the shoe tree inside the shoe to start reshaping the sneaker. Shoe trees inside. What it means to reshape a sneaker is to eliminate the creasing and get it back to its original shape as close as possible. Next, we're gonna grab our solution and squirt 2 squirts inside a bowl of water. To start, we're going to be using our soft bristle brush. This is the brush that I always use to start cleaning to break down the grime and dirt on the white mesh. One thing I forgot to do is use the air compressor. As is, there's a lot of surface dust sitting on the white mesh. If I don't do that step, all I'm going to be doing is pushing the grime and dirt deeper into the material. So let's do that now. So far so good. The white mesh is looking a lot better just by using the soft bristle brush. It's still a little bit dingy, but the washing machine will take care of the rest. Next brush we're going to use is our medium bristle brush to take care of the white patent leather, the white midsole, and while we're at it, the insole. Back to the shoes. The next brush we're using is a stiff bristle brush to clean out these outsoles. We gotta get them as clean as possible because we are gonna be using Rejuvenator Store Revive to get them back to ice. Alright, last step we gotta do before we put the shoe in the washing machine, we're gonna finish it off by giving these shoelaces a quick pre-treatment. Alright, everything's pre-treated. To complete the deep cleaning process, we're gonna put everything inside our sneaker laundry bag and put them in the washing machine. Got the shoe out of the washing machine. The shoe is fully dried, ready to go. That's going to complete the deep clean process of the sneaker. The white mesh is back to white. Same thing with the patent leather, the midsole. Everything got flushed out nicely thanks to our Rejuvenator Signature Shoe Cleaning Kit. Now let's keep it moving. The next step, we got to remove all the oxidation from the outsole. So for this, we're going to be using our Rejuvenator Store Revive and the Vick 2000. I'm going to apply a nice thin even coat across the entire sole. Then with some clear wrap, I'm going to place it over it to keep it nice and fresh in the indoor setup. For this process, it's going to take about 5 to 6 days. Hopefully by the 6th day, we have some good icy results. All right, after about 5 solid days, we got the shoe out of the indoor setup. The soles look a lot better. All that harsh yellowing that was around the pods in the middle area came out nicely. I do want to mention when these first came out, they did not have an icy blue tint, so this is as good as they're gonna get. I'm happy with it. Another thing that these shoes benefited from being in the indoor setup for 5 days is the uppers, the midsoles, the white patent leather, and the mesh look a lot better. The next step is to make the shoe wearable. So you can see there is a lot of separation. The shoe is old enough for that. First, we're gonna take everything apart very carefully so we can start the prep work process. Got all 3 parts separated. Getting the midsole off the upper was a little bit tricky. For this part, you gotta take your time. You don't wanna rush the process. If you do, you can potentially rip this midsole and there's no going back. I'm gonna put the upper to the side and focus on the midsole and the sole. For this next step, we're gonna be using acetone and cotton balls to wipe off all the old glue. One thing I do wanna mention is the air unit is still fully intact on the midsole. We're gonna take it off and prep it. As you can see, the air unit still has air. There's no cracks, it's not crumbling, so we're gonna still use this. We still gotta go in and use some acetone and cotton balls to wipe off all the old glue. After that, we'll move on to the uppers. Prep is complete on all 3 parts. Let's put these to the side and focus on the uppers. For the uppers, we're not going to be using acetone and cotton balls simply because if we use it, it's going to ruin the patent leather and it's just going to smear the glue. So for this part, we're going to be using a Dremel to remove all the old glue using a 60 grit sanding drum. One thing I do want to point out is the white toe cap piece. Once we shave it all off, it's going to be gray. Later on, we're going to paste that white back. So once the clear sole is on, it looks factory. Prep is complete. We got all the old glue off. Now it's time to apply some new glue. First, we're gonna go outside and spray some Bulldog adhesion promoter on the rubber outsole. That's gonna help with the adhesion. After that, we'll come back and apply glue onto the upper, onto the top and bottom part of the midsole, both sides of the air unit, and the sole. Glue is laid down and let it cure for about 2 hours. Now it's time to stick everything together. We're only gonna be focusing on the air unit, the sole, and the midsole. First, we're gonna start with the sole and the midsole. We're gonna heat it up and start at the back. Make sure everything lines up perfectly. So far so good. Now we still have to go in and glue the upper onto the midsole and sole. But first we gotta replace the white milky toe caps. For this step, it's gonna be very repetitive. We're gonna be applying paint, glue, and then let it cure. First, using some Angelus white paint, we're gonna lay down a nice thin even coat using a paintbrush, let it dry, then we'll apply the glue. We'll do that a couple times. Check that out. That's how that's supposed to look like, nice and milky. Now we still have to go in and apply one more coat of glue. So far we got 2 coats of glue and 2 coats of white paint. Now to finish it off, one more coat of glue and then we'll let it cure. Stick everything together to finish it up. White milky toe caps look good, glue is fully cured. This was a trick taught to me by my friend Alex, aka Flippin' Kicks. He has all the tips and tricks when it comes to gluing. Next step is to bond both of these parts together. For this part, I like to start with the front, make sure the toe cap lines up nicely, add a little bit of heat, stick it together, then we'll let it cool down for a little bit, jump over to the back, same exact thing, make sure it lines up nicely, then we'll finish it off by doing the sides and hitting the inside to get the middle nice and bonded. Reglue is complete. This was by far one of the easiest ones I've done. Everything lined up nicely, no issues at all. The white toe caps also look really good. Typically, I let the shoe cure for about 24 hours before I give it a stress test, but I'm gonna show you guys how well this glue job is gonna hold up. As you can see in the toe cap, I'm gonna try to peel it back, and I'm using force with this step, you guys. It's not coming off. Now let's keep it moving. The next step we gotta do before we lace this shoe up is work on the patent leather. You can't really tell because it's white patent leather, but it's a little dull right now. It could be shinier. First step, using some Reshoevn8r wipes, we're gonna go in and remove any grime and smudge marks. After that, using our Reshoevn8r mink oil and a buffing tool, we're gonna give this patent leather a nice shine. Patent leather looks shiny. Now it's time to lace it up. All right, that's gonna bring us to an end on these anniversary Jordan 11 restoration. Overall, this project came out really smooth. I remember when these first came out back in 2010, I was a junior in high school, and these look as good as I remember them. I taught you a few things in this video. The first one being on how to give the shoe a proper deep clean and how to bring the white back using Reshoevn8r products and the Vick 2000. I also showed you guys how to remove the oxidation from these outsoles using the Vick 2000 and our Reshoevn8r Sorta Vive. We used the mink oil to shine up the patent leather, and of course, the most important step in this project was to make these shoes wearable. Once again, we took everything apart, cleaned off all the old glue, applied new glue, bonded everything together. Now these shoes are wearable for another 10 years. I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed this video. This is Vick Almighty. I'll catch you guys next Monday. See you guys.